Hey everyone, this is Jamie Broderick. I am the owner of Network Now. I wanted to do a blab today on business relationship building because a lot of people don't know the true meaning of networking. I've built my entire business on connections and promotion, and I still see people doing it wrong. So I thought I would get on here and start a conversation. Unfortunately, my laptop had no sound, so I had to start a new blab. So hopefully people can find me here at this new link. Tigger is joining us here. My cat is on my desk. So Network Now is the networking organization I've been running in Bucks County, Pennsylvania for the last 8 years. And our tagline actually is, "It's who you know," because you can't build a small business or any business actually alone. And you need other people to help you get successful. Laura, you gonna get on here, girl? So a lot of people go to networking events and they think it's about shoving their cards in other people's hands and selling, and they leave a networking event and they say, "I had no sales. It was a failure." But that's not what it's about at all. It's about building relationships, and think about how you do that in your personal life. It takes some time, right? It's about helping others and listening and supporting them and collaborating. We're going to bring Laura on. Let's see if we can get her on camera with some sound. That's good. So your goal with networking and building relationships is long-term friendships. If you're using Chrome, Laura, it'll work. If you're on Safari, it won't work. So long-term friendships, personal growth, and eventually business success, because your business is only as far in line as it can get based on where you are personally. You know, I've accepted you, Laura, but it's not coming through, girl. All right. So how to build relationships: give consistently, stay in touch. Everybody needs help, no matter who they are. You know, a lot of people ask me, how did I build relationships with top authors and podcasters and media people? I don't know if Firefox works or not. I know you don't like Chrome, but you're not going through, girl. Yes, thank you. It's really about thinking about others. And no matter where they are, even if they're above you, they definitely need help. So people ask me, there's stories about how I became friends with Michael Port, for instance. He's an author of 7 books now. Book Yourself Solid was the first one. And the story behind how I became good friends with Michael Port, who has a global reach and is a huge influencer in the marketing world and now public speaking world, which is, I suppose, is part of marketing, is it actually was kind of a power of attraction thing. I was doing a class and my trainer said to me, "How's Network Now going?" And I said, "It's going so well that I feel guilty." So she said, "Don't you believe in the power of attraction? You've put so much out there. It's all coming back." I said, "Absolutely." So we're gonna try to get Kathy on here. So while she's teaching her class, which was on marketing, she kept bringing up Michael Port says this, Michael Port says that. And I was, at the time, this was a long time ago, I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. So a lot of people in the class had heard of him, and they said, "We would love to go to one of his events, but it's so expensive." And I said, kind of half kidding, but why not? "Well, we'll just have him come talk to Network Now." So to kind of put it out of my mind. But in the very next day in my inbox was an email from a PR firm, Furia Rubel Communications, saying, "Hey, would you help Michael Port promote his event in Philadelphia?" Okay, that's spooky, first of all. Mm-hmm. So I jumped on that. I emailed back and I said, "Absolutely, I will definitely promote his event in Philadelphia. I'd also like to know if he would come speak to Network Now." So he loved that I just put it out there and knew what I wanted. And he invited me to his event to say thank you for promoting it. I got to attend a 2-day seminar for free, which was worth about $1,000. And after the 2 days, I said, I asked him, so I figured maybe he's going to stop by for 10 minutes because he is local. So it wasn't too big of an ask. I figured he'd stop by, say hi, give a few words of wisdom and leave. But he said, I'd like you to promote my next book. So what I realize now is it was kind of a test to see if I could make and keep my commitments. And the relationship started as helping him locally with book launches, but it turned into a friendship. I'm going to close Laura out of here. All right. So Kathy, let me hear if I can see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay, it's working.
All right, Kath. So we're talking about business relationship building and networking and connecting. And my point is that everybody, no matter where they are in the food chain, need help from you somehow. So it's really about listening and being creative and figuring out how you can help them. So have you had that experience at all where you've been able to build good relationships by listening and helping others?
Oh my gosh, yeah. First of all, coming from the pharmaceutical industry, it seems like a huge industry, but it's very, very small. And you never know where people are going to end up. So right. Product launches happen, and then people hop to another company for another product launch. So it's always great to keep those relationships going. That whole burning bridges, that's very true. Mm-hmm. That's very, very true. So, but for me, I have a lot of relationships across all different industries. And sometimes they start out as a personal relationship and then end up being a professional relationship. So just by listening, just maybe by having a quick meeting or a quick cup of coffee can turn into, you know what, I have this need and I think you might be able to do this. I'm going to send your information to somebody. Why don't you follow up? So a lot of that happens. So I think it's just always be open to it.
Right. Yeah. Being a connector is a huge thing to do. It's really valuable to connect people together that want to be connected togetting. You know, don't shove a business on a potential customer if they're not looking for that. But connecting two people together where it's mutually beneficial to them is really huge and really appreciated.
There's an administrative assistant that's sitting there right now making copies that will ultimately be the vice president of this company. Mm-hmm. And if you're nice to them, you can ride their coattails all the way.
Yeah, you have to be authentic, true of heart, be friendly. You know, so if you go to a local TV station and you are nasty to the receptionist or the intern,
you're never going back.
Yeah, exactly. The intern has the producer or the anchor's ear. So, you know, be kind to everyone. Exactly. And, you know, don't be devious about it. Just respect everybody and be authentically help them. So I have a question here. Do you think networking is principally about finding people you'd like to work with rather than skill sets?
I think it's a combination of both. I think there are people that you want to help and they're being their authentic selves and you see that there's a need there and you want to make it better. However it is, whether it's just by listening or helping them solve whatever problem they have. There's going to be a lot of people there that you don't like, and you're going to have to work with them too. I think sometimes it's a test.
Well, in corporate, you don't have much choice if you're in a department with someone. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, you kind of start attracting like-minded people. So even the people that are, news anchors and radio hosts in my world, we all still have the same values, though. Mm-hmm. We all, treasure and believe in the same things. It's not, and even the members that join Network Now, it's about people that are interested in collaborating and supporting each other. So we don't attract people that are in it for themselves. If they do show up, they don't last very long because they're just taking. I'm going to try to get Laura back on again.
Hi, Laura.
Let's see what happens. So I just want to talk a little bit about mixing online networking with offline networking. So Laura, looks like you're on, but there we go. Oh, you have feedback. You need headphones.
Okay.
I'm going to mute her. Okay, so let's talk about online and offline networking, because you don't want to just do face-to-face networking like the day of old, because you're missing out on the power of the internet. Let's see if Laura can talk now, Laura.
Okay, I'm on now.
Perfect. Okay. But you also don't want to just network online, because there's nothing like, handshakes and smiles and hugs and face-to-face networking. So it's really important to mix the two together. So some human element mixed with the power of the reach of the internet. All right. So Laura, what do you have to say about business relationships, my friend?
Well, I'm catching pieces of this conversation as I'm trying to join. And I think business relationships are both personal as well as professional. Because let's face it, we prefer to do work with someone that we like. And I think that our level of authenticity can come out significantly in terms of building those relationships, right? We all know those people who, they just want something from you. And it's not really pleasant to do work with those people. It's much nicer to do work with those that you have some kind of relationship with, that there is some type of connection. It's a give and take.
Right. The know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For anybody that's on, it would be great if you click the little button, Tell a Little Bird, the blue box. It's on the left-hand side of the screen, and I'm pointing to my right because it's a mirror image when you watch the recording. Yes, it is that way. Yeah.
There we go.
So today we're talking about relationship building, networking, true connections, taking online, offline, and offline, online, mixing the digital footprint and reach with face-to-face handshakes goes a long way. So I was telling people how I met Michael Port, who, he has a book launch of his 7th book right now, Steal the Show. And so I just sent a little note saying, hey, you need any help? And he said, always, why not? So I said, throw together an email and I'll forward it to my members, which I did yesterday. You guys should have gotten it. And then I asked him if he would join me on Blab, which I full well know that it helps me as much as it helps him, because people will see me online with Michael and his followers will connect with me on Twitter and so forth. But it also help him. Why not get his message out in one more place and Steal the Show? A few more copies of Steal the Show, right? So Laura, why don't you introduce yourself real quick and then talk about how you've used relationships to get the word out about your new book, for instance.
So I'm the author of a book called The Center of Me. I have to take this off because I'm getting feedback and it's weird hearing me talk to me. So I'm the author of a book called The Center of Me, The Journey to Finding Your Inner Coach. And it's all about the voice inside our head. And is it a critic or is it a coach? And how do you shift it from being a critic to being a coach? And it's very interesting because just this past weekend, I did a workshop, actually a couple workshops at an oncology retreat center for women. And the way this came about was 6 years ago, just knowing someone who was doing some volunteering and tagging along and doing some volunteer work, and they realized more about my background and what I did, and it just grew. So this was a great platform for me to be able to communicate about my book and to get out there. And it all started from a friendship that turned into and a willingness to say yes, I would volunteer and allow it to grow into something more. And even with Network Now, with Jamie, in terms of our relationship and my being a member many, many years ago and still being on the email list and getting some things and wanting now to promote my book in an even bigger way and reaching out to you and what we've been able to do. Your personality and your style and the way you are really resonates with me. And so it makes working with you fun. And when something is fun, it's not work, right? And that's the goal.
Right. Yeah, you got to keep it fun. Life's too short to make it boring, dull, and stressful, right?
Right.
Got to roll with it. This is a little off topic, but recently we had our deck painted. Well, the painter ended up using 2 different colors. So there we have our graduation party for my son, and half the deck is painted dark brown and half is painted light brown. You just got to laugh. What are you going to do? Anyway, Kathy, why don't you...
sections for the adults.
Yeah, right. They all thought it was just a shadow. Anyway, no one really believed it was too cold. But Kathy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the work you're doing with the DISC personality test, and talk about how that test perhaps could help with people building relationships within their company.
Okay, great. First of all, I love this tool. So I'm very, very passionate about it. I'm Kathy Marcino, KMM DISC Consulting. I'm a facilitator of the DISC model of human behavior, if anyone's ever heard of that. Mm-hmm. It's a tool that's used not just by companies, but by individuals to help build relationships, improve productivity, just overall communication. So parents dealing with teenagers, you can't parent a different way. You're going to parent the same way, but if you have more than one child, they're going to hear you a little differently, and they're going to react a little differently. So the test can definitely help there, even with your spouse or your manager. I recently worked with a group at church, and the ages ranged from 40 to 74. Wow. And everyone had a different perspective. And it was so interesting to see the different strengths, the different values, and then how they were able to work together once they were able to see each other's personalities, just basically how they tick. Right. So they were able to say, okay, you're going to work on fundraising because you're great in front of people. You're going to count the money in the back because that's where your strengths are. And so they're going to be a more cohesive team, and I think they're definitely going to be a more productive team. So it really is a tool from the house to the office.
Well, anything that helps you get to know people better, I'm all for that. Why not, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really a helpful tool in terms of, a lot of the work that I do is about the voice inside our head. And it tells you what's right or wrong, what's good or bad. And your tool is another way of getting out of your head and realizing that someone's responding to you only because this is just their temperament. They don't mean anything negative or bad or derogatory.
Right.
It's just their temperament.
And how many times do you say, don't take it personally? Because the first reaction is, what did I do? But it wasn't you.
Right.
It was just them. Right. That's just the way everybody's hardwired differently. And once you see that and you're more comfortable with that, then I think you have a better relationship overall.
There's a question from Natalie, Laura.
Yes.
Do you work with voice dialogue?
I don't know what voice dialogue is.
Oh, thanks for the tip. Maybe you can tell us what that is, Natalie. It's awesome. So, once you start building up a lot of connections, it gets kind of hard to keep track of them all. So if you connect with somebody and then you never stay in touch with them, it's kind of fruitless. You don't want to just show up a year or two later and ask for something. You want to be able to stay in touch and help them along the way. So you could perhaps have them on your mailing list if they give you permission, and you can send out helpful information there. Or you can have some sort of CRM system. CRM, for those that don't know, stands for Customer Relationship Management. And it can keep track of, it's great if you have a team because you can also assign tasks to your team to help follow up, but it gives you reminders. Hey, don't forget this person to call this person or follow up with this person in a month or two. Because if you try and use your email inbox to keep track of everyone, it's just,
forget it.
It's chaos, right?
There's not enough colors or flags.
Yeah, everything's a different color.
Yeah. So, some people ask, how do you find influencers and how do you find media to connect with and how do you build relationships with it? There's see this tail? This is my cat is jumping on my lap. See? Say hello to her.
That's great.
Keeping it real, baby. He's 15 years old and he bosses all the other animals around. We have like 9 pets. Not kidding. 3 are hermit crabs, but since we have to feed them, I count them in the pet count. Absolutely. So if you think about media, how do you create a relationship with the media? Well, you start following them online. You become a fan of their show. You tweet at them. You share their content. You support them, find out what other passions they have. So like Tracy Davidson, for instance, if you help her with her goal of eradicating hunger in the Philadelphia area, you'll get her attention. Or Luann Kahn, if you support breast cancer research, you'll get her attention, because these are things that they're interested and passionate about. So it's all about getting to know them as people and finding out what they like. As far as connecting with potential clients and things, you really just need to listen and stay in tune, whether it's face-to-face listening or online, and find out what they're interested in. Like even personally, where do they like to go on vacation? Are they married? Do they have kids? If you meet somebody at a networking event, you don't have to provide information to them that is business related. So perhaps they mention to you that their anniversary is coming up and they're not sure where to take their spouse for dinner. So the next day you could send an email and say, hey, happy anniversary, great talking to you. Here are 3 restaurants that we have found to be really enjoyable. Check them out and include links. Like that's huge. So they don't have to be searching around. Why not? And they'll remember that. I built a relationship with Carol Roth, who's now like big time MSNBC media contributor. She wrote the book called, okay, now I'm going to forget the name of the book. But she's the one who coined the phrase jobby. Do you have a business or a jobby? Because if you've created a job for yourself, even though you're working for yourself, you're really a jobby, not a business owner or entrepreneur. Well, the entrepreneur equation. Okay, I've retrieved it from my brain. It's the entrepreneur equation by Carol Roth. So the way I found her is I was looking at, back to Michael Port, cannot go through an event without mentioning him, right? Mm-hmm. I was looking at who he follows. So he at the time had probably 10,000 followers on Twitter, but only followed 100 people on Twitter. So I'm like, all right, let's see who gets the honor of being followed by Michael. So one of the people was Carol Roth. So I just clicked through and I saw her posts, and I just loved how it resonated with me how blunt she was. She was just kind of said it like told it like it is, which I really liked. So I retweeted some of her tweets, which got her attention. Then I followed her, and then I saw she was doing a teleseminar, and you were able to put questions in the question box. So I typed in, hey, if you're ever going to be in Bucks County, I'd love for you to come speak with the network now. And we could also maybe connect with Michael and have a meal. So she wouldn't do it for nothing, but we did build a relationship. And then when I was in Chicago, we got to meet for coffee. But everyone's wary. They're thinking you're out for something. So we sat down for coffee, and she said, okay, now what do you want me to do for you? I said, I don't want anything. I just really wanted to get to know you in person. I'm impressed by you. I like you. And I just wanted to meet you face to face for half an hour. Like, that's it. About 9-12 months later, I thought of something after I had been, supporting her online and meeting her in person. I was doing these teleseminars for the premium members. So I sent her a note and I said, any chance you have half an hour to get on the phone with the premium members and share some words of wisdom? And she was like, absolutely. You've given me so much support over the last couple of years. So we were on the phone. It turned into 45 minutes, and she talked about everything from licensing to marketing to, what entrepreneurship is. It was amazing. It was so much valuable content in that 45 minutes that she gave for free. And when I first met her, I wasn't looking to get anything out of her. I just really liked her and resonated with her values and the way she approached business. And I just wanted to get to know her. So I supported her. True of heart. You have to do it true of heart. If you're trying to get something from people, it's not going to work.
Right.
But once you build up trust, it's okay to ask for something. And most of the time, they say yes at this point if they have a relationship. So I was on Blab the other week with Jen Groover and Petra Kolber, who are speaking Friday at our event, Future is Bright in Bucks County. It's Network Now's 8th anniversary celebration. And I said, so why are you involved in this? And they both said, because you asked me. So that's like really funny. But that is because, you know, Jen Groover, she's everywhere. She goes from one city to another. You can't keep track of that girl. She has probably 8 million frequent flyer miles. But she's showing up at our event and participating in our leadership panel because over the years, I've supported her and I really believe in her. And I think she's a total rock star. And the way I met her is at the Pennsylvania Conference for Women. I just happened to walk into a workshop and there was this blonde bombshell on the stage in a mini skirt and high heels, spouting all this knowledge. Like she's just killing it on branding. And I was like, I need to know her. She is so great. So I just started following her. She says I stormed the stage and shook her hand. I don't recall that part. I might have. I don't doubt it.
But
I started following her online and promoting her and supporting her. And, you know, I just think she's great because she's all about empowerment of women and empowerment of girls. It's right up my alley. So in return, she's always there for us. We've done tons of workshops together since then. But when I met her, that was not why I started the relationship. It's because our values meshed and I really believed in her. So let's see. Who else is on here? Joanne, I don't know why you can't get on, girl. I guess she disappeared. So Laura or Kathy, what else you got regarding relationship building? Any other tips?
You had mentioned it already. It's funny. I have a 13-year-old and I was so anti-social media just because I felt like I was losing her to her phone and to whoever was on the other, who was in that little black box. And now I can't get enough of it because you're right. Especially with LinkedIn, which I use a lot. And I'll go and I'll see who they're following, what businesses they're following. And I really see who their connections are. And I like the fact that it's like, oh, wow, we already have so many mutual connections. And so then I'm right there sending a connect with me request. And then it goes from there. I mean, you slip into a vortex and all of a sudden an hour's gone by and you've been in the LinkedIn vortex. So I think that's something that I do. I try to set aside an hour every day just for LinkedIn.
That's great. Yeah, I love connecting people together. I love meeting new people. And it's like those songwriters always used to say, you know, a song just came to them.
Yeah. And
you're like, what? What are you talking about? It just comes to you. But that's how connections come to me. All of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, you need to know so-and-so. Like it's just, I love it. It's like really great. And whether it's to help a business or to see these friendships bloom. It's like 8 years ago, I started Network Now with 12, 14 members. Can't really remember the number, but a very small number of people who just kind of trusted that I'd create something. And looking back over the 8 years at how many people have been impacted and how many people know each other from Network Now, it's just so cool. You know, Sue Moran was out the other day for dinner, and she took a picture and sent it to me and said, we just realized we all met each other because of Network Now. None of them had known each other. So it's Ellen Faulkner, Veronica Caserta, Jen Phillips-April, and Sue Moran. And all four of them met through Network Now, and they're like lifelong friends. It's like, so, and they also have business relationships. You know, Sue and Franca work together. They help clients together do interior design. So it's, the friendship is just, it warms my heart. Truly, it's cool. But then it also, to see each other support everyone, the whole collaboration is amazing. What about you, Laura? What do you got for me, girl?
Well, going back to LinkedIn, it's interesting. I've connected with a few people, and there was someone I actually connected with by accident. So my cursor kind of moved and I connected with this person accidentally. And what I really appreciated was he wrote back to me and said, hey, thanks for connecting. Is there something about my profile that you're interested in? Is there a way I can help you? Just let me know why you connected. And that's shifted how now when I connect with others or when others want to connect with me, how I respond to them. And that has developed some really interesting relationships that are completely online and professional.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you can take those offline at some point too, or do collaborate together online in some way, like figure it out. Yeah. So
I look at their profiles and I realize what their skill set is, and then can reach out. Have you ever thought about, or have you ever done this, or how would you recommend me moving forward on something else? And people are really willing to help out. They just need to be asked.
Right. Yeah, definitely doing a little research. Even a minute of research makes a huge difference. Because if I get an email saying, "Hi, would you like any help with social media or with networking?" And I'm like, do you know what I do? It's funny. But if you do a little research, then you're like, oh, I can help this person this way. You can figure out how to help them. So for instance, so I'm in a group on Facebook and they said, post what you need and what you're looking for. So everyone's posting, I need a web designer, I need a graphic designer. So I posted, I'm looking for total rock stars to interview on Blab, because if they're total rock stars, I want all of you guys, premium members, to get to know them. So once the people that responded, I did a little research and I wrote back. I said, hey, you and I should talk about how to leverage a podcast. And he said, how did you know I am a podcaster? I'm like, it took me about 60 seconds to figure it out, but you just have to do the research, right? And somebody else, so you figure out how it is you can help them, what you have in common. Yeah, it doesn't take too much, but just make that a little extra effort.
Right. And it also helps to know who they're connected with. Mm-hmm. So if I get a Facebook request or any request, I take immediately, if I don't know them, I take a look and it's like, oh, okay, they know Jamie or they know so-and-so. Then they must be part of this network. And it creates an instant bond with that person, just knowing who you have in common.
Right. It's not such a cold connection then.
Right.
Yeah. So next week, this afternoon, we're going to have a little power networking. Hopefully there'll be a few people that roll into the Lucky Cupcake Company for a quick hour of networking in person. And tomorrow I'm doing a Blab again, 2 of them. I'm doing one with Lou Bortone, who is a video guru. He and I will be talking about video marketing. And all of you premium members are welcome to jump on camera after we get through the beginning of it. And then I'll be going on with you, Laura, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Sure. So I'm going to have a ton of Blabs coming up. So if you haven't subscribed yet, just subscribe and you'll get alerts. And yeah. Let's see what else I want to talk about. So anyone have any questions about networking, connections, building relationships? Do you accept LinkedIn connections when the person who sent it didn't include a personal message? It's less likely.
Yeah.
But if they don't have a photo, that's even worse for me. If
they don't have
gray head,
say
no to the gray head is what I got.
That's my line. It's interesting. I never used to accept it if there wasn't any kind of a personal message. And a while back, I took some LinkedIn training, and that really shifted my perspective on not accepting that. And the other thing I realized is that depending on if you're on your phone or the computer or a tablet, you have the option to add a personal note or you don't have an option. And so sometimes people might be really genuinely interested in connecting with me and they just don't have the option on their phone. Or like me, sometimes you click realizing, oh, I didn't send a personal message. So I'll take a look at their profile and then make a decision if this is a good connection, and then reach out to them, like I said before, with a personal note back. If they don't have a picture or if they just have a first name, unless it's like Oprah or Ellen, I don't accept.
Yeah. Or Cher or Madonna.
Yeah, Cher or Madonna. Maybe one day Jamie, Laura. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, I definitely check out the profile. So, one of the things that I do for my publicity clients and try to advise the Network Now members on is to build a good digital footprint. If you don't have a good online presence, people will check you out and dismiss you. So if there's no photo, if there's not a strong profile, if you don't have a lot of connections, if you don't have testimonials, it's really going to hurt you. It could hurt you if a TV producer is looking at you. It could hurt you if a publisher is looking at you about a book. It can hurt you if somebody, you want to be an affiliate marketer for someone, they're going to see how big of a presence you have. If somebody wants to be a client of yours, if a strategic partner, everyone's going to check you out online, and they need to see that you are the rock star that you say you are online as well. So Natalie has a link here, so we can always give a personal message. Yes, I love it. How do you feel about non-professional headshots? Yeah, not great. Better than the gray head, but professional headshot does not cost a lot of money. Network Now, actually in the Bucks County area, we have at least 2 times a year headshot events where you can get a headshot for, if you're a member, about $104, which is, have a digital headshot, edited, of course, slightly. Don't want to not look like you, but,
Well, you have that workshop coming up in November where you're offering headshots as well.
Right. November 6th, The Moment Photography will be doing headshot sessions, and we're going to be doing it as an open house. And Laura actually is teaching a free workshop that day. Yeah. Why not do it all at once while everyone's there?
Right.
But
as long as it is a professional-like photo, I'm okay with it. And certainly professional is the best. But what I frown upon are, the baseball caps or the evening gown with it's cut out, but the other person's arm is still around you.
Or the cat.
I guess it's better than nothing, but
or the cartoon. And we've seen profile photos that are X-rated, right, Laura?
Yes.
Gotta love Periscope. Yeah.
Yes.
I know everybody takes a selfie now, and they're trying to make it look as professional as possible. But I don't want to see a selfie with a beer or a cocktail in your hand.
Yeah.
That's not the picture. I understand if it's not going to be professional, but leave out the props.
Yeah, it just has to be in line with your brand. Your online brand should match your real brand. Everything needs to be consistent, or it's confusing, or it'll destroy your brand. So if you are a professional and you have a photo of you in a little bikini top on vacation,
right?
It's just not working. It's not working. Right. Yeah. So somebody is saying it could be a headshot with a blank background, and someone else can take it for you. Sure. If you can't afford a headshot yet, or you just don't have access to one yet.
Right. You can take a nice looking shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No gray head and no cartoons.
Gray head. And then there's a ranking of priorities of what's acceptable.
Yeah. But, a personal photo is better than nothing, because people want to connect with a person. They want to know who they're networking with, who they're building the relationship with. And if they can't see your face, it really diminishes the ability to do that. So definitely have an image.
And as we're just talking about that on Blab, I realize I've got my binoculars here that I should probably take down and have it be clean behind me. And this is another way that we show up professionally. Like, what is my background? What's behind me? What are viewers going to be able to see? And this is not to peep at my neighbors. I have a bird feeder out there.
I figured. I did.
Just want to set the record straight.
That's great.
Oh my God, you're so funny. So as far as relationship building goes, think about what you can do for other people. And it doesn't have to be extreme. So, I talked about Michael promoting his event, but for instance, Rhonda Heffern, we were once at a workshop. It was early in the morning, before 9. And we didn't serve coffee because it was like a bare bones, come in, learn, go, bring your own, BYOC. And she didn't know that. So she showed up without coffee, and she said, oh, wow, I could really use a cup of coffee right now. So I wasn't staying for the event. I kicked it off, introduced the speaker, and left. But I showed up 5 minutes later with a cup of coffee for Rhonda. What did it cost me? 10 minutes and $3 to make someone happy. Well, Rhonda has been a member for 8 years now. I don't know if it's because of the cup of coffee, but that helps the relationship to care about people, just care about them and try and help them in any way you can. So one of our members, Michelle Schaffel, who is hopefully made it to her yoga class right now. She has 2 young kids, like little, a toddler and a baby. And she says she feels like she's drowning sometimes. So this course came across my screen about how to help moms get 5 minutes for themselves and how to be less stressed and how to be better moms. And I'm like, this would be perfect for her. So I copied the link and sent it over to her. And she's like, so happy that I thought of her. So it's just about, and I'm not looking to get anything out of Michelle, of course. It's just what you do. You just think about every person has different needs, no matter who they are, whether they're your client, your strategic partner, the media, some big podcaster or author. Everybody needs help somehow. Oh, somebody's laughing about your bird feeder excuse. You little peeper, you.
But back to your point, I think that's true. And sometimes when someone is more well-known than we are, we're reluctant to reach out with just plain kindness. Mm-hmm. And none of us would reject anything that would be kind, or just thinking of you, or this post reminded me of you. Something simple, but it further builds the relationship and solidifies it.
Right. Absolutely. Everybody, we're human. We want to feel like we matter and that people think about us and that people care about us. It's just human nature. I missed a question up here. Let's see. Sometimes I send a message back asking how we know each other and how we can help each other. I try to keep my network to people that I either know, I've done business with, or network for a reason. Yeah, it's got to make sense. Definitely. That's good. Anything else, Kathy or Laura?
I was just going to say I was asked on 2 dates from people that I accepted, and I probably should have sent a personal message back before that saying, how do we know each other? But it did make me feel good that day.
Oh, yeah. Well, but speaking of date requests, it's just, Blab is just such a better platform to keep out the creepers, don't you think? It's like every time I'm on Periscope, it's just, especially if I have my location on, it's kind of scary. There are people rocking it on Periscope, and I think it's a really cool tool when you have people on watching and interacting with you that are in your tribe and care about you and are networking with you and care what you're saying. But you get the creepers from around the world, and it's like just too easy on Periscope to hide.
Yeah.
You're on. We're on Blab. You see everyone across the top. By the way, if you guys want to network with each other, you just click the little circle above and you can see their profile, and you can click follow on Blab or follow on Twitter, and you can connect with each other after we end this. Periscope, right? So, a lot of people, I've met a lot of people through Periscope. I have advanced relationships with people on Periscope. But sometimes you'll get a creeper if you're the broadcaster. And, I'm on with my daughter last night, and some creeper made some comment about her. She's 10. I'm like, ew, like, get out of my life. Seriously. But it's kind of like road rage, right? You can hide behind your car and not be kind. And it's kind of on the same on Periscope. You can hide. So it's kind of cowardly, in my opinion. But I love the tool. It's just... I don't know how to get rid of the trolls. It's one by one, I guess.
Right. Yeah, one by one. And then use Blab when you can versus Periscope.
Right.
Especially if it's a content like this, where it's more formal and more informational.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think to rock it on Periscope, you need to be on pretty much every day. You need to be consistent, and you need to embrace the whole performance kind of thing. You can't just show up every week and expect the same people to build up a big tribe there. Yeah. So what are your upcoming networking plans, ladies? How are you going to build some relationships in the next 7 days, let's say?
Well, I've got a couple events coming up with you. I am coming to your party this Friday, doing some blabs this week. Yeah, I've got a few radio interviews coming up this week as well. Next week, I am speaking at Mercer County Community College to one of the sororities there. They've purchased my book, and they've asked me to come in and do an hour workshop on stress with students.
Very cool.
And even that, right? When you first think, these are students. What can they do for me? And right now, maybe nothing. Maybe it's only me doing something for them. And who knows how and where the relationship is going to continue.
Sure. It's the ripple effect. Anything in life, right? You don't know how everything you do and every decision you make and every person you meet is going to impact people down the road. It's not always what you think.
Right.
You'd be surprised how those students might come home and tell their parents. The parents look you up online, and it goes from there.
Exactly. And it's interesting. The way in which I got this gig was I had a book launch for my book, and one of the women who is, I guess, like the house mother of the sorority came to the book launch with a friend of mine from grade school.
Wow.
I didn't know this woman, and she came on my mailing list. And when I would email out through MailChimp, she actually would respond to me and say, I'm putting this into practice and it's really working. I'm trying out this. And we just started to communicate, right? And it's
right.
Neither of us needed anything from each other, but it was just this email communication.
Yeah, definitely there's the follow-up. So some people go to networking events and they're at the event, but there's so much that can be done before and after an event, and a lot of people miss it. So beforehand, if you can get your hands on the attendance list, which I always send out, but I would say maybe 1% of the people actually use it, but I keep sending it because it's really important to check out who's going to be at an event, to do a little research, to connect with them online, maybe carpool with somebody, have a strategy before the event about who you want to meet and why. Don't just go for this free cheese, okay? You can get cheese somewhere else.
Or don't
and then if you go to the event,
out your business card.
And hand out your business card like we care. We don't care yet. We need to get to know you. Then we're going to care. And then the next day, you need to follow up. And that follow-up means helping the other person. So, if you can't keep track of everyone you met, maybe write on the back of their card something you talked about so it will refresh your memory the next day. But definitely, the first thing I do when I go anywhere, meet anyone, is jump on LinkedIn, send a request, make it personalized. So it kills two birds with one stone. I'm sending the note, but I'm also connecting on LinkedIn. So it grows your network, it keeps in touch, and then try and figure out how you can help this person. So is there some information they needed, or is there an upcoming event you want to invite them to? Was there a book you wanted to recommend? What is it? There's something for everybody that you can help. Let's see, we got some notes here. So Natalie says she did a workshop once where the participants wanted to know what the top 3 tips were that would get them help every time without investing, that is. Yeah, it might work for a little while, but eventually you'll be that person that they run away from. They were angry when I told them they had to sow first, before they could reap. Exactly, right. Yeah, you can ask a little tiny thing, perhaps, but your ask needs to be in line with the amount of trust you've built, and you build trust over time. And before you have trust, you have like and know. So we need the know like first before we get the trust piece. Mm-hmm. Neil says, "Oh, you're still on, huh? Didn't leave us." So true, and good networkers do that. Major mistake is walking around handing out business cards. Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely will throw them in the trash, use them to pick their teeth.
Yeah.
Write a note to someone else. Yeah, don't waste your business cards. Actually, my strategy is to only give my card out when asked. Yes. So I want to keep things in my court. So if I meet somebody that I want to build a relationship with, I will ask for their card. If I don't want to have a relationship, I will not ask for their card. So I'll ask for their card and get it from them. And then it's up to me to follow up. So, but if I just give my card out, that could be the end, because a lot of people are not good at follow-up, and that'll be the end of it. Right. So how about you guys?
There are some conferences that I've gone to in the past where, you know, all of the vendors set up. And when you walk around, they want your card. Everybody wants your card. And I went with a business associate, and we each took 50 cards. And our goal was to see who would have the most left over at the end, which meant that we had to really use discernment to who did I really want to interact with. I wasn't just going to give my business card out to give my business card out to get away from talking with somebody. It really had to be someone that I wanted to follow up with or have them follow up with me. So it was an interesting thing, but it's the same concept. I'm not interested in just giving my business card, handing them out everywhere.
Well, Neil is asking, what if they ask for your card and you don't want to connect? So I would just be polite. You know, you need to be respectful and polite, and you can give your card out. You should have enough for everyone, but you don't need to take it any further.
Exactly. And sometimes I've found initially I think I don't want to connect with this person, and then sometimes that's the exact person who's been able to connect me to somebody else or has been influential in some way. So if someone specifically asks me for my card, I absolutely will give it to them, because I really have no idea, going back to the disc, right? I don't know what their intentions are and what they're doing and why I might not connect with them right away. I mean, I need to give room for benefit of the doubt that there could possibly be a professional relationship here.
Right. And you need to go online and check them out right afterwards. You never know what they're all about. You have a small little glimpse into their world at a networking event. But I think if you say, no, you can't have my card, I think that would be considered pretty rude. And then you'd have somebody bad-mouthing you, which you definitely don't want. You know, the number one.
You don't want to say, oh, I ran out of them, and then 10 minutes later you're handing it to somebody else.
That's not cool. No, that messes with your character and integrity. You know, give everyone a chance. If someone wants your card, let them connect.
I was in a situation once where I really I didn't feel comfortable, but I handed it out and I said, I'm not sure if I'm the right person for you. And I had somebody in mind, and I was able to say, you know what? You may want to look this person up. So I kept the relationship. I didn't make them feel bad, because the last thing I wanted to do was make them, I mean, how embarrassing, right? If you ask somebody for their card and they say no, I don't want to be on the other side of that rejection. So I thought I handled that in the best way possible.
That's perfect, Kathy. Yeah, Kathy has a good point, because everyone can use help in some way, and that help may be connecting them with a better resource. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good. Definitely. I love it. Anything else, ladies? Any questions? We're wrapping up.
Thanks for the opportunity. This was fun.
This was fun.
Thanks everybody who joined.
Yes, it was great having the interaction as well.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
Take care. Have a